and figures underlined herein and strike the words and figures that are stricken through as shown below. It would be page 8 under the Metropolitan Development part of the budget. It would be changing the Consolidated County Fund, Character 3, from $2,887,445 to $2,703,445. That would change the bottom line of Character 3 to $25,621,805. And then that would ultimately, we'd go over to Character 5 and put that into the Redevelopment General Fund, increasing that. And so we would be taking away from Character 2 and adding it to Character 5. So the department total at the bottom of Character 5 would be $193,526 instead of $19,526. The totals for that department would have not have changed. It would not increase the budget for that department. The idea of this amendment is to cap consulting fees and rebate the money back to the taxpayers. The Department of Metropolitan Development increased consulting fees and management contracts by $184,000. This money would be put into cap 108 to the economic incentive proposal by Proposal 242, and that money would be set aside for $184,000 to the Redevelopment General Fund to be reserved for funding the economic incentive for low-wage hospitality workers in the professional sports development area, amending Chapter 121 of the Revised Code to add a new article as outlined in Proposal 242, 2011.
Second.
We have a motion seconded by Councilor Sanders. Is there discussion on Councilor Mahern's motion to amend the portion of the Metropolitan Development? Actually, excuse me, it would just be 241 generally. Councilor Oliver.
Yes, Mr. President, I think I support Mr. Mahern's amendment on this contention, is that we've given incentives for others to come and relocate into our community, businesses and the like, and the workers oftentimes are forgotten, almost never remembered. So that's why I think this is a good amendment. It also addresses everyone within the totality of that business, not only the business owners, but those that work there also. So I think Mr. Mansfield's amendment is a good amendment and addresses the issues of disparity of income of those that do this type of work. So therefore, I hope all of my colleagues support this amendment. Thank you, sir.
I would just ask the members here attending, I'm sure several folks from the council would like to comment. If you could just hold your applause until after we take a vote on Councilor Mahern's amendment, it would speed up conversation a bit. Councilor Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. President. In essence, Councilor Mahern's amendment simply takes the agency back to its 2011 levels in Character 3. So we believe this is a judicious way of providing this incentive. Also, I would like to point out that this is the same incentive that has been offered to not-for-profit agency in school reform that has been basically courted to set up their offices here in Indianapolis. And in the mayor's own press release in September, it indicates that to make Indianapolis the national headquarters for this growing movement, Mayor Ballard will attract education reform leaders and groups to locate in our city. He will offer an income tax credit to nonprofit education reform organizations that locate in the city. This credit would refund local income taxes to the nonprofit group to reinvest in their mission. we feel that doing the same for low-income workers in the hospitality industry provides them with additional funds to invest back in our community, because these are the individuals who spend pretty much every penny that they earn in our community for the basic needs like food, transportation, and other costs relative to just trying to get to work. So I support Councilor Mahern's amendment, and I urge my colleagues to vote in favor of it.
Councilor McNeil.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to add and piggyback on what Councilor Sanders just stated, that, you know, she couldn't have said it better. The time is now. It's time for us to do what we can for these workers. The time is now.
Further discussion on Councilor Mahern's motion. Councilor Mahern.
I just wanted to bring to your attention that this is not a new idea. This has already went to committee, and we've had a long discussion. There was a lot of people who have come and talked of support without the entire community, and that's why I think it's really important to show how much the city really respects the workers of the city. Thank you.
Councilor Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. I recognize that the budget is tight, and so we are just simply asking everyone to live within their means, but I think it's time that we give the money back to the folks who actually make this a top-class city. Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to the board for a vote on the motion to amend. It only takes 15 votes to amend. The amendment was presented to us this evening. Green would be to adopt the amendment. Red would be to oppose the amendment. The motion to amend fails with a vote of 13 to 16. Further discussion on proposal 241.
Enough is enough! 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 Enoug
Councilor Needles.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President. Mr. President.
Councilor Needles.
Don't vote for them. They're coming up for election. That's how you stop that.
Election year is coming up.
Yeah.
Rich and take away from the people that work.
Just settlement for voting time. Get your friends, family, don't vote for
Shame
them.
on you. Shame 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 on you.
Councilor Needles.
Mr. President, thank you. I believe that there are many of us who are interested in finding an answer to the question that is raised by Councilor Mayhern, and perhaps some councilors this evening were unable to vote for this particular amendment because of their concerns about the funding for the Department of Metropolitan Development. And I do understand that concern, and I would urge the council to revisit the proposal that has been sent to committee and seek to find some other source of revenue. Just because this didn't happen here this moment doesn't mean that we don't have opportunities to continue to talk about it.
Further discussion on proposal 241. Councilor Moriarty Adams.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to take the opportunity to abstain this evening from the assessor's portion of proposal 241. I work for the assessor, and I'd like to abstain from that vote.
Sure. With consent of the body, we will pull the assessor's portion out of 241 and vote on it separately. Do we have consent? Okay. Further discussion on proposal 241. Councilor Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since that portion is pulled out, I would like permission to abstain as my spouse does work in the assessor's office.